Alright. Let's head north. Hmm?
Right.
Right. You feel a sharp and sudden pain in your head, immediately followed by a harsh and alien voice. Aishik. Kalatua nai dwarf edevasti. Hey. That's what I named my character in Dragon Age Inquisition right there. The creature makes a peculiar clacking sound before its voice speaks in your mind once more. I name it Trespasser, Killer, Lingerer in the bright places. Where is it going? Your leader asked us to collect some Adris samples to help the colony. The Cherok asks this. The Vithrek hisses quietly. Of this? You feel a muted wave of thwarted anger. Go then. The Aedra men will crush it like a squirming hare, and Cherok will send us once more.
Huh?
He seems nice. Trained crystal eater. You guys look neat. Huh. Oh, glad we were able to get through that peacefully, I suppose. Hopefully they don't turn out to all be demon monsters or something. I don't know. Until I see otherwise, I figure they're probably just people, overall. One would hope. Search the ruins. How far are we? Floor 13. Man. I really ended up just marathoning this all in one go. After the first bout. But you know, my attempt at pacing it didn't seem like it was going to work out that well long term. Because there's just so many other things to get busy with in this game. Get him, get him. Oh. Spellcaster's bad. Go, go, go. Fire. Hopefully they're reasonably vulnerable to fire. They do appear to be reasonably vulnerable to fire, as it turns out. So that's good. This guy has 26 DR. Shit. That's a lot of that. It's a lot of reduced damage. Alright. Seem to have gotten through that reasonably healthily. They're just smacking away at the guy. A lot of animat, a lot of Aedra. Pretty much the expected stuff, I suppose. And a spirit.
Yeah.
A few spirits. Come, help me here. The spirit holds his hands just above the shattered machine, poised as if to pull some unseen component. Brace there. We'll be rid of this one. Each word seems to resolve itself in your mind an instant after it's spoken, as you recall the Engwithan tongue. He waits a moment, evidently for someone to take up position. Pull hard now. There. He sags back, wiping his brow. These machines. To think how many souls have felt their touch, and how many of those willing, I wonder. You're breaking the machines? It would go faster if we knew what enchantments were upon them. They might as easily be activated as destroyed. He grins a little. Don't worry. I knew what I was doing. Come. They've already started sealing the upper floors. We'll be the last out at this rate. Doiros means to work some spell upon that door. Use Odd Nua's servants against him. What kind of spell? He cannot unmake the door entirely, but he can change its purpose. The oath, you see. If Odd Nua's servants are pledged to his defense, then we shall pledge ourselves to his destruction. The man gives you a fierce grin, turning away. And from one step to another, he has faded, only to appear once more beside the machine. It's kind of, it's got like a looping memory, I think. The way he fades, then reappears, as if to restart the same loop he just performed. Memories of a past that is long gone.
Lead the way.
Get him. There you go. Improved positioning. Really? I would not trust all the drugs I'm finding in these ancient ruins. I feel like most things probably have some kind of expiration date, those included. It looks as if a battle took place here. That's not good. Yep. Yep. That's 5 out of 6 characters paralyzed. They're snapping out of it, thankfully, but that's like distinctly not good news for me. Let's get that bouncing heel started, just to kind of pick up after what just happened. Some important maintenance going on there. There we go. So every floor has a different explanation for why there's things to fight there. And the higher floors, it was just different cultures of people or different micro-civilizations that are just kind of persisting that happen to go down there. But now we have ancients, and in some cases, non-living automatons and other grotesqueries. This hazy figure is tall and heavily built, and its shifting, indistinct face is turned towards the floor, as if it were deep in thought. You hear a faint murmuring in the rolling cadence of prayer. From time to time, the spirit seems to sway in place. As you approach, the spirit raises its voice, and you recognize the familiar sounds of the Ingwithan tongue. And no more shall souls splinter upon the wheel. Hear me, great father. I am pledged against your foes, and the greatest of these is death. Listen. The spirit turns to face towards you in a swift motion. For a moment its features blur, then resolve into what appears to be a man's visage. Its eyes fixed upon you. You are late. Late for what? The spirit turns his face away. They will be here soon. To cast us down, to unmake our work. It is nearly too late. What must we do? He shifts, standing straighter. Are you ready? He raises his hand. You think you see the glint of metal, though a second glance reveals nothing. They have placed your crest upon the Adamat, alongside my own. The Adamats? You're going to sacrifice yourself? He shakes his head. Those of faith remain, and we are children of the wheel. Death is not for us. The spirit's gaze slides away from you as you depart. Even as you move away, he reaches out an arm for someone else, smiling. Oop. Gleaming Ager fragment. Also ouchies. Ah. 75 damage. That's a cool animation. Huh.
Yeah.
Ah. Damn. 181 damage.
Big end.
Wow. Sky spears are brutal. Oh, the Devil of Karak would like to level up. Shadowing Beyond. Temporarily turned invisible twice per rest. Otherwise, a bunch of these guys. Could get Marksman. Which I still don't have. That's probably what we want to do at this point. Increased accuracy. She doesn't have a lot of rogue-specific buffs right now. That's that one.
I'm ready.
Fix her, please. There we go. Just didn't want to sit here and wait for it to auto-regen forever. Get him! Are you stuck? Oh, there she is. For a minute there, I'm like, I didn't leave somebody behind, did they? Did I? So I wasn't counting 6, I was only seeing like 4 at first glance. So I was a bit worried about that. Those pulses of fire do not end well for you.
Yeah.
Yes. Edra has grown into the crevices of these weathered shelves like fungus, pushing past stone and copper. A hazy form stands before you. From time to time, the blurring features resolve into what you take to be an elven man. I can't do this anymore. How am I going to explain? How can we possibly give him what he wants? The spirit speaks in quick, hushed bursts of Ingwithan, and shakes his head as if to answer his own questions. He's going to kill me. He's killed so many. Why should he stop here? Who's going to kill you? Great Father, Master, Odd Nua. I'm trying all I can do. All of us are. We have come to the edge of what is possible. What does he want? The figure paces a few steps, raising his hands to his temples. What we cannot give him. Even after all this time, there is so much we do not know. He wants his son, the boy he knew, whole and preserved, returned to him. But people, souls, they don't always remember. Who's to say his son will remember being his son at all? Remember his father's face. I have seen mothers forget their children. Who are you? He has brought so many people down here. I hear such terrible things from the upper floors. Even here, these constructs, I cannot sleep. His voice lowers. I think sometimes that I will wake and find myself inside one of the animats. Will I even know? Will it not be like waking one day to find myself blind and mute? What are you doing here? I'm hiding. I passed by one of the machines, and I couldn't breathe. I was thinking about the work we've done, the things we've seen, how even small details can scar the soul. Is mine so ragged? Will Odd Nua's son be grateful when we have torn him from his rest? How could you do all this? I didn't think it would go so far. I didn't know. Odd Nua is our liege lord. How can I refuse him? He looks up, startled, looking past you. No, I'm not saying anything like that. I'm only frightened. I'm sorry. Don't tell anyone, please. Are you still loyal to Odd Nua? Of course. I am a devoted servant. His voice goes high with terror. I didn't mean... Please. I never meant that I would ever renounce my oaths. Do you know the way past the speaking door? I know the oath, of course. We speak it every day. I am the servant to Odd Nua. My sword arm is pledged against his enemies. My soul is sworn to his purpose. The spirit seems to curl in on himself. Sworn. People are struggling with the darkness of what this has come to mean. Of what their life has turned out to be. He probably wasn't wrong to be afraid. Thinking that he won't survive this place, that he won't leave. Stop it. Stop it! Ouchies. Major ouchies. Frankly, rude. Very rude. Is this going to be the talking door? A large, ornate and wooden door stands before you. To either side rest large crystals, glowing with a faint light. You feel a peculiar change in the air. As if some presence were nearby. Yet there's nobody to be seen. You hear a whisper, emerging from thin air, from the general direction of the door. It grows in both volume and number, many voices speaking quietly. In moments it has become a chaotic hiss of voices, each vying to be heard. But as you listen, the voices begin to settle into a cadence, then into words, a phrase spoken by many at once. Beneath stone and weight of years rests one who would slay death. Who comes to wake him? Examine the door. Worn smooth by the passage of time, the door bears no obvious means of opening it beyond whatever enchantment leads to a voice. There is no place for a key, nor any handle. It seems you'll have to try something else. I am Yaskier, rightful lord of Odd Nua. The voices whisper and murmur and then fade, so swiftly and suddenly that the silence that follows is jarring. Nothing follows. It seems you've been dismissed. Seems the only option is to pledge. The person from a moment ago just seemed really bothered by that, so I was worried that maybe it's bad to swear to him. I am servant to Odd Nua. My sword arm is pledged against his enemies. My soul is sworn to his purpose. Feel a peculiar chill in the air as the voices grow sharp and tense. Here pass no traitors. You are struck by a sudden lashing arc of energy from the door. It is a sharp, piercing pain, but after a few moments, only the memory of it lingers. The voices quiet and fade, leaving you alone. There is more to it than just the password. Our surroundings seem to be screaming again, as they do. And the entire party is paralyzed. Oh, at least it doesn't last too long. It's a big nasty AoE I got there. Hello. Oh. Oh, these guys are just visions. I thought I was being ambushed. That would have been bad. Whoa, they all enter combat stance while that fight's happening. Can they fight though? The spirit stands stiffly at attention. Her gaze focused on the end of the hallway. One arm bears a heavy round shield, though the rippling blur of soul energy obscures what lies upon it. Hello? Her head turns a little. They've passed the Blight Forges. If the Overseers live, we may stop them yet in the chambers beneath, she snorts. If Cabaros and his pack of scheming wizards hasn't betrayed us. The mob may soon be on us. Better to make peace with whatever god will have you. She pauses, looking at you. Are you afraid? Afraid of what? Indeed. What's to fear at all? She looks away from you. Our own people will turn against us. What remains if we are victorious? Who will feed the machines then? I do not fear the battle. I fear what will become of our lord once we are victorious. What further madness the children of the wheel will pour into his ears. Perhaps he would stop once his son returned to him, but will they let him? Children of the wheel. While Odd Nua contents himself with his titan, they dig after the very heart of heaven. She gives a sour laugh. Madness, all of it. And yet Odd Nua holds them close at his side. None of this would have happened if not for them. They have driven our great lord from grief and into madness, pushed him into these deeds. She pauses. He was a great king. Perhaps he will be again. Come. We'll rally the defenses at the steps, funnel them into our blades. With the animats besides us, they won't stand a... The spirit gasps. Wordlessly, mouth agape. She gropes for something at her back, unseen, and takes a listing step sideways, away from you. Her eyes, wide, gaze into yours. You... Trey... Her legs buckle. And as she falls, the misty lights which form her shape thin and scatter. She was murdered. By surprise. And I guess these guys are patrolling. They keep showing up again. I like my entire team having flame weapons. Does him having flame added to everyone's weapons stack with the flames they already have, if they already have flame enchantments, I wonder? There's a cult of some sort called the Children of the Circle. That's apparently convincing Odd Nua of their ways, taking advantage of his grief for their own ends. I say Ing, but of course this is the past. An Adra shell. That's exactly what they wanted. Ugh, there's still traps. They're in such weird locations. All sneaky-like. Fuck him up! Trying to take... That was... The fight's too short. I'm trying to use the fights to just down coffee. A little tired today. Which is bad, because the beginning of the recording session had some unexpected plans come up. So I'm starting a little late. Which has led to a few pauses to yawn during the dialogue. I'm not overwhelmingly tired or anything like that. It's just I normally try to do Pillars of Eternity first thing in the morning when I'm most energetic because of the amount of reading involved.
Let's go.
Ooh. And we've finished this. 3 might, 3 dexterity, 2 intellect. Ah, and a flame shield on crits. God damn. Well, we finished all the upgrades. Let's read its story. Part paramilitary navy and part mercantile trade guild, the Royal Deadfire Company strives to spread Rautaian hegemony through the Deadfire archipelago. The RDC boasts iron-shod ships bristling with heavy weaponry, crewed by loyal and efficient sailors, advantages that help the company maintain an influential presence in the region. This belt of fine sharkskin bears the geometric tooling common to Rautaian fashion, and within the shallow grooves of each right angle hide arcane sigils. Though its material does not feel unusual to the touch, the belt imparts the wearer a feeling of comfortable warmth. Few dangers pose as much risk to an ocean-going vessel as an uncontrolled fire. A fact doubly true when the vessel carries barrels of gunpowder and other explosives. While not all Royal Deadfire Company ships employ magicians with a propensity for manipulating flame, such vaunted individuals find themselves in great demand and can virtually set their own wages. When Uraska Rona joined the iron-sided vessel, the Lion's Claw, her expertise at bending flame to her will, her nigh instinctual understanding of trigonometry, and her skill with a hammer earned her a sizable commission. Uraska had more interest in seeing the ancient ancestral homeland of her people than in her wages, but she appreciated the ability to return laden with heavy crates of food and other goods to her family's small and desolate homestead. An incredibly effective warship, the Lion's Claw saw regular combat first against the Wahaki, then against outlaw slavers, and eventually against Valian raiders. Calm under duress and wildly capable, Uraska distinguished herself as an irreplaceable asset to the ship, and the captain soon afforded her a berth of her own. Meanwhile, her crewmates fought and died on deck. Eventually, almost inevitably, the envious came for her. They smashed in the door to her berth and tore her from her hammock, dragging her across the floor and into the open gun deck. She screamed for help and begged for them to stop, only to be answered with a punch to the face and a broken knee. When they pulled her towards the stairs to the main deck and a watery grave, Uraska used the only hope left to her. Setting her eyes upon the powder stores, she spoke in an incantation and threw a spark. Seems like she blew up her own ship to escape. That's not good. If she destroyed her own ship, that broken knee is going to be a problem for the swimming she would have to do. There's not a lot of good outcomes going on there. Yeah, she burned through the, but yeah, Pallegina burned through the 50 burn damage very quickly. Because she just, she has her own fire already, but then I'm kind of just giving the fire constantly. Pretty much the moment I get out of here, I'm going to try to figure out how to do this, but I don't think I can handle that right now. Have 20 resolve. But I'm very happy to see a bunch of stat points popping up on these pieces of equipment. Like 3 might on the belt. 3 dexterity. And 2 intellect. So she has +4 intellect from other stats. Just good stats all around, and none of them are oppressing anything else. Or repressing whatever. There was a word for it in this game. Like that's 8 stat points. Like including, like, even if you ignore all of the other spells and stuff on this belt, it's just straight up a belt that gives somebody 8 stat points. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. Some good shit for her to have. I just remembered that I haven't read the War Club of the Mataru. We'll get to that. Don't want to do it back to back necessarily. But yeah, I started holding off eventually when I realized that I need to wait until I completely finish the progression through the tree, because then you can read all of it in one go, because the description keeps getting longer the more you level up the item, which is interesting. Adra Ban. White Adra is an exceptionally rare, precious stone found in some formations of Adra. It sometimes appears immediately adjacent to copper conductors used in Inquithan structures. It has a luminescent white color, with pink and violet veins, striations running through it. Veins, striations. I feel like only one of those should be plural. Veins probably shouldn't be plural. Violet vein striations? Yeah. It's extraordinarily rare and precious. 35 CP. You don't say. I don't think I can open this chest. There's a chest over here you just can't check. These strange mechanisms have cracks in several places, and some components appear to have been dismantled. There is no clear means of activating them. They're trying to take this shit out. Whoa, look how that looks so much like the weird portal thing from, I was gonna say Futurama, but that was the Star Trek parody episode. I'm pretty sure it's from Star Trek original series. I have never gotten around to watching the whole thing. It's really hard to go back. It's like when you play new video games and try to go back to old video games in the same series, and it's not always the easiest thing to do. Sometimes that's true for non-active stuff. Like, I definitely like The Sopranos kind of inspired so much of modern television, but I tried going back to it, and it's kind of, it feels dated. Something about its tone and its directing and its televisionness. It was like the beginning of like good TV, like big, important, impressive TV that's more movie-like. But it was less like that than its reputation makes it seem. Something about its acting and its pacing and its filming and everything still feels like, at this point, stuff's changed so much. Like when you have like Game of Thrones and Westworld and so much other stuff nowadays, Breaking Bad and everything, that now enough time has passed that like when you go back to, I guess you guys should keep going because you already passed the trap somehow.
Oh, look at here.
No. They're not hitting him. Oh, it missed him. But yeah, when you go back to that one, its role as an intermediate step is way more apparent now. Because it feels like it has more in common with old TV than it does current TV, despite being the harbinger of what we have now. We're getting more and more of these Adra chunks. The equipment that they want upstairs. Hopefully I'm not making a grand mistake by giving them these things. Why not do it now, I suppose? Give me a chance to drink some coffee while we load. I find it interesting how dated something can feel. Oh. It lives, and it stinks of dust and old souls. Does it have the Adra Cherrick wants? Not yet. I have to ask Cherrick about one of the objects. The Vithrek's scout growls ominously but stays put. It speaks Cherrick's name too freely. Go then, ask your questions. It lets out a rattling, unpleasant laugh. Kistoric waits. Yep. The fact that I was given the option to lie made it feel like maybe it's a good idea to lie. He seems abrasive and rude and maybe even treasonous or something. Well, he says I speak to Cherrick's name too easily, so he's probably not treasonous. He's probably loyal. But I almost wonder if he would try to kill me to take the credit or something, or to co-opt it for his own powers. Either way, he seems iffy. Fatigue. I've gone through too long without sleeping. Maybe now is the time. Adra. Yeah, I find it interesting how TV and movie can, like, how they can become dated, because it has less to do with technology. The CG can be dated, if there is any, whatever effects they'd use, but it's really the filmmaking techniques that become dated. Whereas in video games, we're super used to the idea of stuff becoming dated because the technology moves so fast that stuff from 5 years ago starts to have its cracks show, and stuff from 20 years ago almost seems rudimentary. And that doesn't mean that they're bad. They can do a lot of cool stuff with that, but you can see all the seams. Like it's kind of like how you can like set like it's like the Muppets in a way, where like when you watch the Muppets, you're 100% aware that everything is a puppet and how it works, and you're just kind of marveling. Oh yeah, look, yep, there's a guy's hand in there, and it's his hands operating the mouth. Like that's kind of how older video games feel. It was like you can kind of see all the moving parts because they're so relatively simple. It's kind of the feel I get sometimes. Or like Once Upon a Time, it might have seemed like, wow, look at this facsimile of life, is so realistic, and then enough time passes and you kind of like, it kind of becomes a different kind of novelty. I don't really remember how I got to that topic in the first place. Cherrick greets you, dwarf animal. It has been below. It has what we seek. I have all the Adra samples. You feel another passing itch in your skull, and then a rippling echo of joy. Then Vithrak, oh, a great debt. With these, we study, learn master's secrets. We make statues greater than old dead master of Hollow Place. Stravak Tharith will gleam like the sea. Vithrak, thank you. Is having coin is custom, yes? Vithrak have coins of many ages. Will give many. He thinks a moment. If dwarf animal goes still into the deep places. Should talk to Creevy. Creevy has supplies, will help. Cherrick is giving this also. Found in tunnels. And does not suit Vithrak. Keeps dwarf safe, yes? Will bring fortune. Drawn in spring. I have no idea what that is till we see it. Glad to help, Cherrick. Vithrak, remember, long after sun falls into sea, this is start of something. New turn of the wheel. Cherrick turns towards the nest lining the wall. Young will live in better place. Oh, that's so hopeful.
Yeah.
Despite being floating spider monsters. Hopefully they're not, like, the worst somehow. They who awoke the stars completed. Aloth returns with 10 1,000 experience. Fuck. Leader says you have some supplies to sell. Yes, Jarek is saying you help us. Creevy is collecting supplies. A deer tongue can see. I was wondering when this guy would be a vendor, because he seemed like he was a vendor from the get-go. And now I can see he is a vendor. Ah, primarily you can buy stones, diamonds and sapphires and so on. And some exceptionally upgraded gear. Not a lot though, he doesn't have much of an inventory. I don't know that strongly which of the stuff I'd want to buy necessarily. But at the very least, it gives me a chance to deal with the fact that I have a bloated ass inventory. Oh god, it's lagging. Oh. I have 7 pages of weapons. This is the longest I've ever gone without selling my stuff. Oh. No. You know what? This is, let's do a little live edit. I'll see you guys in a bit. Oh my god. Are you ready to make all the money? It's like 13 grand right there. Flip. There we go. And I've got like 70,000 on me right now. Oh my god, look how long it takes to scroll. Alright. So on top of giving them all the age artifacts they want, I've also armed their military. My god. What have I done? They who woke the stars. The Glenfathan astronomers who predicted the Lover's Tide that destroyed Andra's gift took many of their instruments and notes and hid them out of fear they might be captured by the Adirans. Decades after the war, the tribes recovered the astronomers' work. Unfortunately, all of the original astronomers had died and much of their writing was penned in an unknown cipher. 2 Valiant Dukes have offered a reward for anyone who can help crack the cipher for the Glenfathans. The tribes are reluctant to let anyone look at their notes, but they believe it would be better to share their knowledge than to let it remain a secret. Though backed by the money and spies of 2 Valiant Dukes, Aloth had difficulty cracking the Glenfathan astronomer's code. Many of the Glenfathans who initially appeared helpful turned out to be saboteurs who believed that outsiders could not be trusted with Glenfathan secrets. A series of ambushes and difficult chases through Glenfath eventually brought Aloth face to face with the great-great-granddaughter of one of the Orlan astronomers who predicted the Lover's Tide. She threatened to destroy the key to translating the cipher, but Aloth was able to negotiate a limited translation of the key astronomical information. In the end, the Valiant Dukes were a bit disappointed, as they had hoped to learn additional secrets of Glenfathan astronomy. However, even the information Aloth recovered was fascinating to Valiant astronomers. 10,000 experience. And a 12 reflex. Cloak. Huh. Neat. One of these days I'll have to remember to actually find the box that held all these rewards in it that I keep, I'm pretty sure, not ever getting. Whoops. 21 hours.
Sure.
Are they gonna stop me again? Nope. Yeah, I'm not sure what was gonna happen there. He kept interrogating me and antagonizing me, so I just became distrustful and stopped listening to him. Might have been a waste of time, who knows? But that guy seems to suck, so fuck him. Not in a great situation overall. I don't... let's see if I've uncovered the secret to actually opening this door or not. There was the other ghost that said, let us pledge ourselves to his destruction. I am enemy to Odd Nua. My sword arm is pledged against his followers. My soul is sworn to this purpose. The voices seem to draw a breath. You hear the rumble of stone. And the door slides open. There we go. It was the other guy was the clue when we talked about betrayal. Because I need to be the opposite side. And the door slides open. The crystals to either side of it dim. And with the light go the voices. Fading first into murmuring whispers and then silence. The path is clear. You have done it. We shall be the first to step beyond these doors in an age. I mean, we've been the first to do most of these things lately. Although I guess the Vectreth were around, whatever they were called. The Guardian of Odd Nua. This is when you quick save. I think I did a moment ago, but still. Hello, boss fight. Oh. It's quite the crowd you got there. I do believe you're going to be some variation of threat, aren't you? Oh, Pallegina. Oh, Pallegina. Oh, she's petrified. That's pretty not good. Uh-oh. Barely injured. It's not great news either. Yeah. There's some bad news going on around here. I may have wanted to redirect some of these units to elsewhere. And Pallegina is out. Not good. So the people that can revive her are the ones that need to hit 5 chance. We'll see about that. We're getting there. Oh. Oh, she got back. Right, I forgot. She can get back up. Shit, I think, yeah, she had like a talent, right? I didn't notice in time that she got back up. I should have been having her revive herself. Would have been more ideal. There we go. Quickly, Pallegina, lay on hands on yourself. No, not her. Yourself. There we go. And now do a chain heal on yourself. That'll bounce amongst everybody. So that'll come in handy. Let's get ready to summon a Drake. We could use some help here. Hoping for the best here. Oh. Yasuke just got knocked out. Right. The danger of being in frenzy mode is that I don't know how much health he has. Shit. Okay. At least you're relatively healthy right now. Should I be using the revive on you? Commands an unconscious ally to get back up. Oh, so it's a single target, not an AoE. That's just the cast range. Holy fuck, by the way, that's how big her cast range is now? Alright. Thankfully I've got a few of these to throw around. I'm gonna want to sap some health out of these guys using the ability to do that. There we go. Come on, one more chant. We're almost there. Nope. You're not chanting right now? That was weird. He didn't seem to be making any progress. He might have been interrupted. Still, those handful of revives really changed the landscape here. Now here comes a big old distraction. Oh, he's a big boy. Oh, that's neat. Alright. And some of these guys to accompany him. There we go. So now these guys are, the worms are here to fight and the Drake's here to fight, and on top of that, my swarm of little tiny guys are flying around. So this place is just full of the entire life cycle of heal yourself. The entire life cycle of a dragon is all fighting here, except for an actual dragon. Well, that would be kind of a big ask. But you know, maybe we'll get there at some point. Sorry you've had a tough day, Palagina, but, you know, we'll be alright. A very small shout.
Yeah.
Oh, is the fight over? It is, isn't it? I'm sitting here choosing how to use my chance. No, we're good.
Huh?
Got a little revive spammy, but we're good. Picked up Yaskier and Palagina. Then got summoned crazy. The Edge of Reason. Superb one-handed battle axe. 50% increased crit. 20% of damage restored as endurance. That's pretty good to have on an actually good weapon this time around. Shit. Edge of Reason belonged to a barbarian from the Deadfire Archipelago, who loved the rush of battle. Each strike against his opponents renewed his strength, and each victory only whetted his hunger for further bloodshed. He killed his foes slowly, relishing the ebb and trickle of their life, and drawing might from their terror. He grew bolder and more reckless, surrounding himself with enemies to feed from their collective vulnerabilities. Eventually, he found himself overwhelmed by a mob of combatants. Not even his furious attacks were sufficient to sustain him. Let's give that to somebody to keep track of for later. My first reaction was to give it to Maneha, but I gave her these two rapiers, and I think I gave her a skill that specializes in them now. I've limited myself. No, maybe not. Last thing I gave her was Mental Fortress, so I still haven't given her the actual rapier specialization. So I could potentially switch that in. Oh yeah, Drawn in Spring. This was a reward a moment ago. 25% of damage is inflicted over time, and it's superb with bonus accuracy. Just a nice, strong, stabby little dagger. A legend of the living land speaks of a marvelous and dangerous garden watched over by 4 guardians: Northern Wind, Southern Gale, Western Sun, and Eastern Moon. To protect the garden from those who would disturb its wonders, and to protect hapless wanderers from the ravenous beasts and carnivorous plants within, the guardians diverted travelers with their respective domains. Frigid and buffeted winds, glaring daylight, and darkness of night. 3 would stand alert each season, while 1 guardian rested. It is said that Western Sun summoned Drawn in Spring each year after awakening from winter slumber. Got some superb items. Whereas this one is... That one's also superb. That one's accurate too. We're getting more and more pre-enchanted superb items, at least. I'll figure out what I want to do with them. It's hard to keep track of all these weapons. There's a lot of unique loot we're getting at this point. This is a big dramatic throne room. Definitely wondering how much further we have to go. Or if we're nearly there. Palagina took bad hits. We're gonna have to rest again. Even though it feels a little early. Ta-da! Not exactly a huge floor. Hello. We're getting strange sound effects. Is this going to be Odd Nua? Is he inside of this crystal this whole time? Or is this his son? There's a force field up there. That's the spirit of Odd Nua. We're here. The shade emerges like a wound in the world, split open to reveal a hollow darkness. Beneath a writhing crown of shadow lies a gleaming mask bearing the visage of an older man. The silver face turns towards you, features cold and still. From within the sockets of the mask's eyes, guttering fires emit their eerie light.
Who are you? Would you abandon your king? Take up your sword! To battle! The enemy has come!
I don't think there is a battle.
It was lost long ago. This battle, and more. You are no lost soul of mine. No soldier. But you see them. What remains of them? As the Mad One did before you. As I do. My subjects. My people.
Why have you sent beasts to attack me? Attack you? To what purpose? Your face is not known to me. What remains of my kingdom is bound here. I cannot cross the threshold. He looks towards the darkened doorway behind you.
Many souls do pass from time to time into this place. The Audra draws them deep, and there they are consumed, but not by me.
Something dwells in the place beneath us, and there feeds upon my people, as it did when we drew breath. It is an old, ancient thing, and you will not conquer it, any more than we could conquer ignorance. Odd Nua suddenly shudders, and the shape of him seems to warp and twist. The tines of his dark crown grow long, and the surface of his mask ripples like molten ore.
None walk there save Odd Nua's line. You will not tread in that place. Not there.
What's down there? All the souls the paths have ever known, bound still to the Aedra, waiting for their chance at rebirth, or else trapped within the fragments. He reaches a formless hand toward the mask, only to jerk it away as if scalded. My son, somewhere he must be. All the souls the paths have ever known? Is he saying that every person who ever dies in this entire dungeon is trapped here? In the Aedra? And then consumed by beetles, apparently? If you are not master of this place, who is? Something with a longer reach, for I can do nothing outside this wretched chamber. The stone is like an anchor. The mask turns back towards the crystal at the center of the room and the body there.
Many souls do pass from time to time into this place. The Audra draws them deep, and there they are consumed, but not by me.
It's so strange how the voice acting comes in and out. Something dwells in the place beneath us, and there feeds upon my people, as it did when we drew breath. It is an old, ancient thing, and you will not conquer it any more than we could conquer ignorance. Yeah, we've read this before.
None walk there save Odd Nua's line. You will not tread in that place. Not there.
If this thing is responsible for the attacks on Odd Nua, then perhaps I can help us both. How? Will you destroy that which survived the end of my people? No. You will only anger it. It will drink your life like water. But it's destroying this place, as surely as the Ingwithans did. It threatens your world, your homes, not mine, for we are long dead. To me, it is but an obstacle, and when, too, it at last perishes, I will have my chance. I have waited for so long. I cannot risk this. But you...
But you see them. What remains of them? As the Mad One did before you. As I do. My subjects. My people.
You built the endless paths.
The endless paths. 1,000 hands toiled to create it. But it was my voice, my will, that directed them. The great work of our age.
Or it would have been, if they had only allowed me to finish. If they understood that from such rotted foundations could emerge wondrous achievement. That the same curse I sought to cure afflicted them in turn. That my son might, from one moment to the next, be lost to me is abomination. His voice thickens with grief, reverberating through the chamber. He wants only that I should be proud of him. How can a father convince his son that he might accomplish nothing and still be the light of his life? How, if he is gone? So many hours and days spent wondering. If I had been there for a moment earlier, if I had stopped him from leaving that morning, if I had only known that I would never see him again.
Lost, treading these endless paths, these regrets, with him forever moving out of reach into some darker place, away from me. Have they loved nothing in all their lives? Lost nothing? Wives, husbands, children? Might I not show them then the agony of it?
Is that your justification? That your grief outmatches everyone else's? What did they make of their grief? Nothing. None of them dared. None tried. I had the vision, and the people followed me. They believed. They knew what I promised. And if some came only to test their knowledge, at least they contributed to our understanding. We came so close. You do not understand. The frustration of it has only festered in me. I cannot cease thinking on it. Some light surges behind Odd Nua's eyes, which burst into orange flame. Every moment I have lost.
Have they loved nothing in all their lives? Lost nothing? Wives, husbands, children? Might I not show them then the agony of it?
What happened to this place? Odd Nua's voice gains a distant quality. We sought the place where the veins of the world meet, where a soul might be drawn from the Aedra. If we could find the means to keep the soul intact, to preserve its memory. We are so close. It is nearly done. My people shaped for me a titan, vast and wondrous in form, so that it might be worthy of the soul that would dwell within it. He reaches out a hand, pointing a dark and tapering claw towards the steps. I have not looked upon it since. They will destroy all I have worked for. They will steal my only hope. Odd Nua raises his arms, now lashing tendrils of shadow. Will we allow the rabble to strike us from this world? To steal my son from me a final time? Up, soldiers.
Soldiers! Up! Conquerors of death! Keep them from the statue! Will you leave your lord to fight alone?
The stone seems to shake beneath your feet, and the air grows cold, but nothing emerges from the darkness. The echoes of Odd Nua's command fade. His spirit regards the crystal, where his body dwells, silent. How are you still here? Is it so strange? I can see, sense the power in you. You must have seen by now the limits of the shroud, how easily one slips its shackles if pressed. My son did not have the time, perhaps, to... It was so fast. His soul went swiftly into the stream. But I could find it again. I did find it. I was so close. And then... the invaders. The mutiny. Traitors, all, coming to smash the machines, the crystals. They had no thought for the lives spent, the progress we had made, to rip a soul from the afterlife, to return him to my arms. I was so close. The mob slew my most faithful. Then came for me, a blade in the stomach, like any common dog. But I robbed them of their trophy. My body, at least, would not be parted from this place. I cast one final spell. He indicates the crystal at the center of the room and gazes upon it for a few moments. You sealed yourself in here. Nothing so precise. I meant only to die in some manner that hindered them. It was not pleasant. If I had time to think. He probably suffocated himself or crushed himself inside that thing. Because when that crystal generated, he was still alive. I did not imagine that I would be trapped. What force could hold me? Yet every effort I expend to leave this place. There are times I can sense what lies above, but never below. Your people wanted vengeance for what you did to them.
Vengeance? And what of my vengeance? A son taken from me in prime of life. My boy, not of illness, nor of age. Not well. Do you understand? His soul lingered yet in the living world. I knew it. I sensed it. But I could not speak to him. Could not hear him.
You could have. I sense it on you. The spirit's voice is ragged, but we are 2,000 years too late. How I remember him still. His face. I need no carving to remind me. He was much like his mother. Wanted to be a warrior as she was, but had my temper, my wretched looks. He brings up his fist, wreathed in wisps of shadow. I would have slaughtered the world to have him return to me. They ought to have been honored to sacrifice their lives for his resurrection, to save their prince. Before you is Odd Nua, king in life of a great people, in death, master of nothing. Okay, weird dialogue tree. None of these are leave the conversation, but all of them claim I've finished the dialogue already. So I'm not really sure where to go.
Have they loved nothing in all their lives? Lost nothing?
What has caused the paths to become overrun? It takes Odd Nua a moment to speak. Time. The press of time. We chased such beasts from our work sites in our day. They were but passing pests, but in time their numbers have been allowed to grow. And now They are chased up from the depths by that which dwells there. The new master of this place, feeding on the souls of all that have succumbed to the paths, to grief or greed.
Have they loved nothing in all their lives? Lost nothing?
I've seen some of what you've done. It's really hard to speak when he's yelling in my ears. You don't deserve any sympathy. You see the hollow remnants, the empty, pointless cruelties. You do not see what came of it, the things we learned. It did not start so. How could it? I was mad with grief. I summoned workers, mages, servants. We plunged headlong into our quest. I could not see for tears. And at first, nothing. Feeble efforts, false starts, days of nothing. And all the while I was certain I was losing time. I gave permission that we should try new methods, that we should bolster our knowledge of the soul. And with these barbarous acts, we began at last to learn, to find the edges of that veil. My people told me they could find my son, but still we had not the means of extracting him, safe, intact. And at last, when the discovery was at hand, we were betrayed. All that we had paid, the lives lost, the taint upon our souls, all for nothing. They destroyed the Titan, cleaved him from his roots.
I will never see him again. Even in death, we have been more wholly separated than if I had never known him. He will have forgotten me. Have I not paid? Have they not cost me all I had?
You have wronged a great many people. Yes, I know it. How could I not? I remember that as well. I have had so many years to think on all of it, to remember. It is not the chamber binding you. It is your rage, your grief. That is... No. I have tried to leave this place. I would go to my son. I would let nothing stop me. You are lying. The Shade's eyes glow with an ominous light. What would your son think to see you now? The air chills between you. Puffs of frost accompany your breathing. He would not know me. What they have made of me. You will not speak of him. You do not know him. You have murdered hundreds of innocents for his sake. Will he thank you for it? No. Never. With a sound like the cracking of ice, fractures emerge in Odd Nua's mask. At your feet, frost begins to creep across the floor, spreading outward. I have destroyed myself. Long before the people turned on me. There are deeds which scar the soul, injuries that will not mend, that will last into the next life. If I go, now, he will see them. Resolve 20, the exact same requirement of my hat. If only, huh? Let him judge for himself. The dark shape of Odd Nua's specter shudders and heaves. The air around you grows cold until frost has begun to form across the tiles. The shadows seem to draw lights to themselves, threatening to plunge you into darkness.
End then. At last.
And then, at last, the glowing embers of Odd Nua's eyes gutter, dimming. His form seems to unravel, darkness seeding away to frail light, and then fading entirely.
Boros.
And so he's gone. Shroud of Mourning. Whoa! Can I plop that on you? Probably doesn't stack, right? Re-resolve from the Shroud of Mourning. Oh, this thing requires 20 dissolve, it doesn't have any. No, well, it has 1. Ah. I thought that when you highlight resolve, it would tell you which ones are repressed. But it just says +3 from Shadow of Mourning, it doesn't mention the one on my hat. Is there somewhere else where I can see which ones are being stopped? How close do we get, by the way? I still have to get 4 more points. 3 might, 3 dexterity, 2 intellect. Might, constitution, resolve. So that one might's being stopped. 2 perception. Nope, she doesn't have overlapping stats, so she's fine. I was worried that it wouldn't work. I thought I saw somewhere that would show me which ones are being stopped by other items on your character or something. I don't know if I'm necessarily in a hurry to switch to that, but at the very least it's an option for when I'm trying to hit 20. It'll come in handy for that purpose. Well, shit. I seem to have caused him to move on. Sometimes it just takes the right words, I suppose. I guess it's kind of the point of being a watcher.